Occasionally, I redraw things from other franchises in the form of new Pokemon, but today I want to take a crack at creating something new, Entei's Paradox form.
In case you missed out on playing Scarlet and Violet, we now have Paradox Pokemon. Pokemon that seem very similar to ones we already have, reimagined as primal forms from the past or high-tech robots from the future, depending on the version that you get. As of recording this video, Paradox forms for both Suicune and Raikou have been announced, but their leader Entei has yet to get his own. Suicune became this raptor-like dragon type, and Raikou was a very memeable Brontosaurus. So what iconic dinosaur types are left for Entei?
We actually ranked some of our favorite Paradox Entei designs in this video over here, so if you want to go and check that out, please do. It was a huge inspiration for us just drawing our own. And yeah, let's get into it. So first up, myself and Chris theorized that Entei might get a flying dinosaur design. So we looked at winged or flying dinosaurs like Archaeopteryx, pterodactyl, or the Cryodraken, which by the way is an awesome name. Finding the right pose for a character is incredibly important because it can convey the persona of that character and the way it holds itself in that drawing. Despite this version of Entei being a flying type, I didn't want to have his pose be mid-air. I want to capture the same powerful personality from the original design by having him stand on the ground in all of his glory. But making him look powerful with dino features that have thinner limbs and floppy wings was going to be a bit of a struggle. But I found some great references, and I very quickly found a pose and the foundation of this design that expresses a similar dignified Entei energy. The biggest challenge about designing a Paradox Pokemon was definitely making it look like a dino, but also taking features from the original design to still make it look like Entei. But I like going back and forth and seeing what a beak on Entei would look like and making sure it was ticking all the boxes. For the color palette, I went with Entei's original colors, obviously, but I also noticed a trend where the other two have added a red highlight in the design, so I somehow had to incorporate that, which led me to trying a few things like having a gradient above the feet, but I felt like it was too invasive, so I left it on the edges of the back fur on its head and the fin on its back.
I like how you made the beak from his mouth shape. In fact, the whole faceplate works really well. It's still readable as Entei, but it is very much this pterodactyl creature. Placing the smoke on its tail makes me think it would look almost like an ominous cloud soaring through the sky, and I think keeping the gray spikes very small and aerodynamic was a better choice than keeping them as this huge bulky thing on its back. You've also kept the design very simple. It's not overcrowded or busy, and I really like the use of the tips of the hair and the coloration on the spike as an interpretation of what we see happening on Suicune and Raikou with its own color accents. I also like the lighter color in the wings. I think it really makes them stand out. Before we get on with the next design, we want to know from you, who of the three legendary beasts is your favorite? Suicune, Raikou, or Entei?
So a very common prediction that people have for Entei's Paradox form is actually a triceratops, something that's very heavy set. And this was actually the very first drawing that I did for Entei's Paradox form, and it was brilliant. A lot of fun. I would have to say it was a little bit more fun than doing the pterodactyl version of him. So same rules apply. We have to make this look like a dinosaur, but also make sure that it looks like Entei. After seeing a lot of the fan art of Entei as a Paradox Pokemon, but inspired by a Triceratops, I realized that everyone basically used the golden crown on his head to make that into the horns. I was gonna change it up a bit, but then I realized, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So my main focus was making sure that the head shape looked like a Triceratops, but also largely encapsulated the Entei feel. And if you notice here, I also didn't want to make the Triceratops just stand on all fours and just, look menacing. His original design is very agile, and so I wanted to encapsulate that in this running pose.
For your second design, I really like it as well. It definitely gives off the imposing Entei vibes. It's quadrupedal, it's very heavy and bulky. I like that the smoke and spikes work very well together. They don't seem imposing. Again, just by taking it down to like one spike and putting the little spikes on the tail, it seems like a much cleaner design than some of the other designs we looked at. Again, the face shape is just very clean. It's not too imposing. I love the use of the red now going like all around the face, and the yellow making these like horns that sit on top. Also, again, the mouth shape being more of a beak, very similar to what we see with dinosaurs like Triceratops and Stegosaurs. It's very interesting to see that like this popular belief is that maybe Entei is like this herbivorous dinosaur, and that doesn't stop it from being strong and imposing, much like a Brontosaurus or Ankylosaurus would be. But yep, that's gonna be it, Connor. These are great designs. You've really delivered. I think these are both super likely. I feel like we could get either or. And yeah, I look forward to finding out what the actual results are. We'll definitely do a reaction here, so you guys should like and subscribe and ring the notification bell so that you don't miss when we actually react to that or when they're actually revealed. And thanks so much for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next video.